joining us. We had a little chat
Thanks
before
for
we hit
having me.
record. We are so excited to have you. First of all, for those people listening at home that somehow have not stumbled over your social media, who are you? What do you do in the realms of sport and the world of media? Just give everyone a rundown of why we've decided to bring you on.
So I'm Kat. I'm a sports presenter and I'm also a content creator. Oh my God, I've only been doing this for about 2 years now. So I just kind of stumbled into it accidentally. I was actually studying osteopathy before I got into sports media. I literally just had a TikTok account. I was just absolutely taking the piss on the internet for a while. And then, just accidentally fell into sports media. And here we are, dropped out of osteopathy. So it's worked out pretty well for me.
And covered a World Cup within the first year. Happy
Covered
days,
two
right?
World Cups in the first like 18 months. So I absolutely can't complain. I'll tell you
And
what.
I need to ask, what's osteopathy?
So the easiest way that I can kind of explain it is that it's a mixture of physio and chiro together, but it's more of like a holistic approach. So works on everything and fixes everything at the same time.
Happy days. Michelle is here. Hello, Michelle. How
Hi,
are you?
Michelle.
Good evening, everybody. Hello, Kat.
Hey, how are ya?
I feel overwhelmed. There's too many people here.
I know. This is the first time we've had this layout, and it's kind of exciting. This is the first time all three of us have been in the same room with a guest. And I'm going to say, Kat, just so we all have our favourite teams. I'm guessing yours is Chelsea by the looks of things.
Yes,
Just so we can start that rivalry off.
She supports.
I was like, Michelle's gonna punch on when she comes in.
She supports two teams that I absolutely hate.
And that's why
three teams, because she's also Colo Colo, so like the worst of the worst.
Absolute scumbag. I am also from Melbourne, so I've just got nothing going for me at this point.
Nah.
Happy days. All right. Well, we did have some pretty major Olympic news drop this week with groups being announced, guys. So things are really exciting. We now know who we're playing, when we're playing them, and what our road to Olympic glory might look like. So for those of you that may have been hiding under a rock over the last week, we'll go through all the groups as a whole so you know who's playing where, and then we're going to dive into who we have in our group. So home team France is in Group A. They drew Colombia, Canada, and New Zealand, which is much like us in kind of almost a group of death kind of vibe in a way for that, considering third place, how it goes off rankings. Kat, we'll start with you. With all the international knowledge in your brain, we'll throw you on the hot spot straight away. How do you see this group, and what, even though the Matildas aren't in it, what is kind of something you're looking forward to in this group here?
Like, I'm looking at all the groups and the entire tournament's just going to be an absolute, like, it's going to be shambles. It's going to be shambolic because you've got, like, all of the powers, except for England, pretty much, in the world. And it's going to be mental. I think France are obviously very strong. We saw that during the World Cup and they've continued that on. But Colombia, Canada and New Zealand are also strong as well. It would be nice to see New Zealand do well because I think that they have the potential. But let's be real. I think it'll be France, of course, as much as I hate to admit it. And then I think coming second in that group, it'll be between Colombia and Canada. But I honestly, I couldn't pick.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting
a tough group. I think all three of them are just really tough.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad we're not there because that could have been a hell of a group. Cody, your thoughts on this pot A? What are you liking the look of, and where do you think it ending up?
Look, I can't look past France either. Even at the last World Cup, I think they were very, very unlikely not to go further. I saw it written somewhere, I can't remember where it was, but it's a statement I do agree with. After Spain, it's probably the next good group of nations would have to be, obviously besides England, because they're not there. You got France, USA, and Australia. They're probably the next group of favourites. I'd be very surprised, especially on home soil, if France don't kind of come away 3 from 3 in this group. As much as it may sound a little bit biased towards one country, I generally like the look of them. I do want to see Colombia go on a good run as well. I love watching Linda Caicedo play football. I still got flashbacks of that Colombia-Germany game in Sydney. That was one of the best experiences I've ever had in football. But I do want to see them do well. Obviously, Canada's going to be tough, but I think Colombia have enough to kind of edge out second place in that group. I feel for New Zealand. Kat, I know you said they've got potential. They probably do.
They do, but in that group it's tough.
every group at the Olympics is going to be tough. Really, I don't know
Yeah.
if there was a solution for New Zealand that's like, okay, yeah, we've got an easy group here.
I think the one thing
Fortunately-
they've got going for them is that they probably have, saying France at home, they've got that toughest game last in a way. Like they don't play France straight off the bat, so they might not come under that pump of home
yeah,
crowd.
but the last thing you need as well is to go through the first two games, get be 2 from 2 in losses, and then go, okay, we need a win against France in the last group stage game. The only thing they have going for them is if France has top spot possibly wrapped up already, or a final spot wrapped up already, and they decide to switch the team around a little bit. But otherwise, if they're going into that game trying to fight for something, it's going to be very, very tough.
Michelle, take it away.
Well, yeah, I think we're all in agreement that France is probably going to top the group. I think they're obviously the side that looks the best. I think Canada is going to actually do really well. I think they'll come second. The way that they were in the Gold Cup, the way they played against us recently. I know we pumped them in the World Cup, but they also pumped us in a friendly. I think they've just got maybe the motivation, and because they are the reigning champions, they'll be wanting to go into this as well, being like, hey, like we can still compete for a medal and we want to get that gold medal back. Yeah, like New Zealand's New Zealand. You know, they don't have money coming into their federation and into their football, so they're using us. So really, at the end of the day, we can wish the Kiwis luck and all the best in the world. But I think that's about it. I mean, I would love to see them do well and win a game. But much like many other nations, until there's proper investment, proper youth setups, and maybe even one day their own actual professional league, like there's only so much that you can expect from New Zealand.
Wouldn't it
and
be
a confederation that's like half competent as well?
Yeah, true.
Which we had this discussion a couple of weeks ago, Cody. It was literally playing in the background for me today. It'd be good just to see them just cause an upset. Maybe not win games, but just take points away and just cause like a few draws or something.
They're the sort of team you probably wouldn't expect them to get out of the group, but they'll have something to say about the teams that do get out.
100%.
Sorry, Kieran, I've basically stolen your line there, but fuck it. I'm taking it.
Yeah. I'm going to call Group B the group with chips on their shoulder, because the US and Germany have something to prove after the World Cup, both with dreadful World Cups by
Germany
their
are
side.
terrible. Germany are trash. I'm saying it.
All
I'm
right,
calling it
Michelle,
now.
there you go. Take it away. Clearly, we know your thought on Germany.
I'm calling it now. Listen, that federation is in shambles. Imagine spending 70 years with one supplier as your kit supplier, and then you're like, sorry, even though Adidas is from Germany, we're going to go with Nike from USA. And I bet you their next Germany kit is going to look atrocious as well. Let's be real. Anyways, the football. Germany, men's, women's, and I believe their youth as well, all failed to qualify for... all failed to get out of the group stage in the World Cups, in the most recent World Cups.
Yeah.
All of them. The federation is a joke right now. And I think a lot of people are really frustrated. A lot of Germans are really frustrated by that, because really, that's a team that's stacked with players and they should be getting out of the group stage. That Germany side should have won the whole tournament.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad I don't actually gamble, because I would have lost a lot of money. But yeah, realistically, Germany, yes, they will be coming with a lot of vigor and a lot of motivation to want to do well. Whether or not they actually are able to pull through and do well, I don't think so. I think USA and Australia are probably going to have a better run. But I also think that African team, depending on who it is, because I think it's either Morocco or Zambia.
Zambia, yeah. And we've got whoever loses the final, essentially.
Yeah,
So
I think either of them are going to be really, really tough. And I think the African nation is actually going to be our toughest opponent in this group.
hopefully we learnt from the World Cup and we don't kind of underestimate the African nation this time in the World Cup. Kat, obviously the US, with their probably one of the worst performances in a World Cup, missing by millimeters, or a millimeter from heading through. How do you see this playing out, and how does it look going forward?
Look, I mean, they did just win the Gold Cup, but they also did just lose to Mexico. So go figure, right? Like, I think they look good when they look good, but then sometimes they're just absolute trash. And I'm just like, I've got all my fingers and toes crossed that that's what it's going to be like, but I doubt it because everyone knows that we've obviously got quite a decent rivalry with them purely based on the fact that they think that they're so much better than us and they're actually not. And I'm being biased, but I'm not because it's true. Like, I think the thing that rubs everyone up the wrong way about the US is that they've got this thing of like, oh, we're so much better than everyone else. And I think that World Cup was like a very rude awakening that like you're actually not anymore. Everyone's actually started to catch up. People have got money now. Obviously not as much as what they should, but people are starting to get money. Like these countries are getting money. And like you said before, not to underestimate the African nations, like people very much do. And the African nations are very, very strong. So I don't know. I feel like it's going to be a tough group for them because I think if they go into this like they did with the World Cup, thinking that they're going to breeze through and things are going to be sweet and they're going to win it, like when they released that stupid ad, which to be fair was a masterpiece, but also it was dumb. Like, I don't know if they're going to get very far, but they're looking pretty strong.
I mean, Morocco are off the back of a historic World Cup in their own right. So, yeah, I wouldn't want them to kind of lose to Zambia and have them in our group as well because it could cause dramas. And you mentioned there that everyone else has started getting money. And that was, if you watched the Netflix documentary that the US released about their journey through the World Cup, that was a prevalent line that kept coming up from all the players was everybody's caught up. Everybody's caught up. We're not the gold standard anymore. Cody, do Australia top it and take out number one?
See, I'd actually be surprised if we top this group, in all honesty. I don't want to say we're any less than the nations we're going to play against. I'd probably feel comfortable against either USA or Germany. The only two nations that worry me in the slightest are France and Spain. So for me, this is actually the best case scenario. I was saying that though. I said it to you guys in an old episode. If I was to pick a draw, I'd want France or Spain give us the best. I'm confident. I'm that I've got that much reps on the Matildas, but I'm also happy with a bit of an easier draw. With the USA, it could very well play out in a sense of they go and lose every game with the Olympics, except for us, simply because I think we're the ones that are probably the most aware that we're probably the one game that they'll end up firing up for, because on paper we're probably the best team they're going to play against. But Germany, it's funny that I feel confident against Germany because I don't know if we've played them since, but I remember I think it was Tony Gustafsson's first game in charge. We lost 5-2 to him back in 2021. Yeah, it's 4 years ago, but it's funny that that's actually the last time we played against him, and that's what happened. I think we've come a long way in those 4 years. I wouldn't be surprised if we beat them. I think we've taken enough learnings from the Nigeria game that anyone from Africa should not be disrespected. The only one that would probably worry me slightly is Morocco. I think they're a nation kind of like us where they kind of feed off being on a good run. They feed off the fact that they are a little bit of an underdog and maybe on paper not as good as other nations, but they've got this carefree attitude. They want to represent their country in a good way possible. And considering, and look, Michelle, Kat, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but Morocco has almost been, at least in terms of women's football, a leader in kind of the women's space. They've got a standard they probably want to uphold themselves in terms of representing the continent as a whole. And I think that'll be a really interesting challenge on how we kind of handle that as well. Either we come first in this group or we come very close to last. I don't think there's going to be an in-between. Either we're going to go and we're going to smash this out, or we're going to get a rude awakening of ourselves.
Cody's hot take for the night. There it is. Let's just look at our games real quick. We started off against Germany on July 25. We are, I think, the second game to kick off. Third game. We're third kickoff. So in Marseille against Germany, is that a good game for us to get things started, get the ball rolling? How does everyone feel about that first game? Would you rather have US up first, or are you happy with how we've kind of drawn Germany, African nation?
Give it to me in any order, in all honesty. I'm happy to take them all out.
There's some quiet confidence sitting in this group.
I think
you can't see their faces. but
The
everyone's
one thing-
nodding and like ready to go.
The one thing I'm really happy with is that all our games are in Marseille. We don't have to worry about traveling. I think that hopefully that plays into our hands a little bit. Although
we
talking
play in Nice game 2.
I don't believe so. I think aren't
We
we
do.
all our games in Marseille?
We're Marseille, Nice, Marseille.
Oh. Well, I spoke to a mate of mine from France, and he said it's not hard traveling around the south of France. So hopefully that's not too much of an issue.
Yeah, Nice and Marseille aren't too far, so the travel's
Yeah.
not going to be too brutal. But to be fair, like I feel kind of the same. I wouldn't be too upset about getting anyone to be fair. I think if anything, if we got the African team first, that would be a bit worrisome. But I think it's good that we're starting with Germany, and I also think like it's probably better that we don't get the USA right off the bat because with them. But again, it's like you almost would want to get them because then they don't really have time to see what's going on. It's like you just get them and then they've just got to cop it on the chin how you come out. But yeah, no, it's. I'm not going to complain. We're pretty solid.
Yeah, we are. We will look towards our squad that's just been announced for the Mexico games as well in a second. We'll just touch on that because we've got some questions on socials from some people that have asked a few things that they want us to touch on this episode while we do have Kat here. Last group, Spain, Japan, Brazil, and CAF 1. This is going to be interesting to see Spain and Japan duel it out, to be fair. I think that's the way it's going to go. I can't see Brazil kind of making any real dent here. Again, Morocco, if they win that tournament, could be the shake-up here, but it's just going to be good to see that Spain-Japan game to kick off the group as well. Kat, obviously, you got to see these teams in person in New Zealand when you cover the World Cup. Is it exciting to see them face up each other again?
I'm excited. I did watch. I think Spain played Japan at one point. I don't know. I was saying earlier, it's just such a blur. I don't even remember what was going on. Like I have to like look through my phone and look through my videos to see. Okay, I went to this and I did this, but Spain were just incredible. Like I went to I think 3 of their games or something in New Zealand, and it was just they're so good. It's just really unfortunate that their federation's absolutely cooked. But like, I've got no doubt that they're obviously gonna just fly through. But I think Japan had a bit of a troublesome tournament at the Women's World Cup. Like you can see that there's something there, but it's whether or not that they can spark that for the Olympics because it's there, but it's not quite. They haven't really reached. They've got something, but they just can't get there. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's. I feel like Brazil's kind of past their prime almost, even though they, I don't know. Sometimes I think they're very unpredictable because, they're like kind of like the USA where they'll play like shit and then out of nowhere they'll pull a mad performance out of the bag. But it just kind of depends on the day. So we'll just have to wait and see for that one.
Michelle.
Yeah, I think this will be because Spain and Japan played each other in a knockout stage, so bit of a revenge tour for Japan, possibly. I think Brazil. I don't know. Brazil's hard to comment on because it's a nation where they're known for being good, but recently they've just not been at the level that people have been expecting. Again, the same as Germany, So I don't think that they're going to do anything outlandish, if that's the right word I'm thinking of. I don't think they're going to do anything amazing in this tournament. I think they'll simply exist and they'll probably win a game, draw a game, and lose a game. And then that'll be it. So yeah, I do think it's going to be between Spain and Japan, although I do think Spain will come out as victors in all 3 games.
100%. Cody.
I'm intrigued to see what African side ends up in this group because, look, Nigeria do have something about themselves. They did well at the last World Cup. South Africa is someone who probably could upset the odds as well if they're in this group. I think they've got a style of play that could, I won't say match up against Spain and Japan because it's definitely a quality disparity, but there's a style of play that could cause some issues there. And even on that kind of Spain-Japan contention, who's going to come up on top? Japan is probably the best side in the world to mitigate what Spain can do. We all saw it in the World Cup. The way Japan were able to kind of soak up what Spain was trying to do. They're a very disciplined side, and their counter-pressing, their counter-attacking style works to a T against Spain. It's like, look, Spain's side, traditionally, they are built on energy. They're able to kind of organise themselves quite well. We saw it to a T in the 2010 Men's World Cup. We saw it in the last World Cup as well in the 2023 Women's one, where there was probably the shades of that old tiki-taka style that used to work so well in the men's game, but that's probably evolved out of that since. But Japan's probably the best side to mitigate that. So I wouldn't be shocked if Japan end up topping this group. I even said it going into the last World Cup, Japan's probably the one team that Spain's got to worry about. It's so yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Spain do end up coming second. I'd look Brazil. I think one of you guys said they kind of just exist in this tournament. I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case. They're in a bit of a transitional period themselves. They're probably in a danger of coming last as well if whatever African side ends up in that group goes on a bit of a run. But, and this is a big but, I'm pretty sure if we top our group, we play the runner-up of this group. So in that regard, either I hope Spain doesn't come runners-up in this group, or we don't win our group, because that.
I thought you said you wanted Spain, Cody. I thought you 5 minutes ago you were saying give me Spain, and now you're saying you don't want them.
You know what? If we top our group and Spain comes second, fuck it, give us Spain. Let us knock them out early.
Just to quickly
say that.
Go.
Sorry. No, I say that as someone who's half Spanish as well. If we come up against them, fuck Spain, honestly.
Olé. Just to fact check ourselves, Japan and Spain did come up each other in the groups, and it was Spain's only loss. Japan balled out and went 4-0. Yeah, it was the big defeat that Spain took that was the catalyst, I think, to them.
Wild.
Flicking things around.
I was at that one.
And also, fun fact about that World Cup group: Japan, Spain, Costa Rica, and Zambia. So, not the first time those three teams potentially would have been in the same group. So, Zambia came third there, I think, beating Costa Rica because Costa Rica lost all their games. So, looking forward to, we've got obviously internationals just around the corner for the girls going to the US to play those games against Mexico. How are our thoughts on this squad? We had a quick chat during the week when it was announced about it looks like it's definitely Tony's using these games to figure out who he wants to take to the Olympics. It's not a time to blood some new guys, new players or anything like that, where he's taking the people he knows to figure out who he's taking away. Good to see Caitlin Torpey back in that squad. I think she's deserved that role after the way she played in the qualifiers. Are there any surprises here? Are there any things that we're kind of wishing were a little different, or are we getting stuck in that train of seeing the same faces over and over again, and we're just going to have to be happy with it because that's the way it's going to be until at least after Paris? Cody, Kat, Michelle, whoever wants to take the mic.
I'm kind of used to it at this point. Look, I can understand where he's coming from. We've literally got one more game before you're going to go into camp mode for the Olympics. I don't know how much different the squad will be from the two friendlies in Australia to what it'll take to the Olympics. There's only really a month between. For all we know, the squad that he takes to those friendlies could be carbon copy of what's going to end up going to the tournament, or just simply 23 of the players that will end up getting picked from kind of a extended squad, if you will. I'm not opposed to it, provided a good outcome comes out in the end. I know we're still kind of sticking with 4 centre-backs in a 23-player squad. We're not going to be taking 4 centre-backs to the Olympics unless Tony's kind of got rocks for brains again. But look, I hope Polkinghorne and Louis kind of get a run a little bit. I do. It's going to be between one of them. One of them does have to be dropped. I've kind of made it very clear in my opinion on this podcast. I do kind of think it should be Louis that goes if it's going to be one of the two. It would have been interesting to see if maybe you give someone like Kennedy a rest, or if a centre-back is kind of struggling with injury. I don't know what their fitness levels are like in France and England at the moment between Kennedy and Hunt, but I would have liked to have seen one of Heatley, McNamara, or McLean get a run, just to see if we could bring something fresh, or someone else could kind of go for a late run. Michelle, I see you nodding your head. I know you want McLean in there. But,
give me Charlotte McLean, call up.
But in all honesty, I think the only other thing that kind of surprised me is the fact that we've got 3 left backs in there and Charlotte Grant that can play there as well. I'd be surprised if even more than one of Catley, Nevin, and Torpey end up going to the Olympics. I think Torpey maybe have a little bit more of a case than what Nevin does at the moment. Maybe he wants to have one last look at Nevin, and the way Torpey played at the last game against Uzbekistan, it would be hard to justify dropping her. But Overall, I'm not surprised. I just want to make sure it does provide the right outcomes when the actual Olympic squad's announced.
Kat, what do you think of the squad? Like, is there any players in this 23 that you think have no kind of, they're 10 feet away from the 18 that we could take to the Olympics?
Look, I think, let's be real, I think Tony is a creature of habit, and he is going to just take the same squad that he's always done, and that's completely fine, bar Sam. But I'll be honest, I'm not completely upset that Sam's not going to be involved, and I know that's probably a bit of an unpopular opinion, but I think to a point we play a lot better without her. And that's not me saying that, oh, Sam can piss off or whatever. It's more so like, I think it's almost like an Argentina and Messi kind of vibe, where it's like, consistently just one player, that's who you're playing to, and that's it. I think that's what we kind of fall into with Sam. So that's why I'm kind of glad that for this she isn't going to be there, because it kind of gives, it's kind of going to make Tony use his brain a little bit more. Whether he does or not is a bit of a different question, but I'll be real, like, I can't really say that there's anyone here that I'm too super surprised about. I think Amy Sayer is one of those ones where it's like, I don't know. Because watching her in Melbourne a few weeks ago, I was a bit iffy about her, and then she was all right. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say, but I'm not sure if she will be one of those ones that's going over to France, but who am I? Really? Who am I? But no, I mean, I'm not upset about this squad. Like, it's the same faces that we see all the time, and that's just what it's going to be like, honestly, for a while. It's just a matter of, I think, we've really just got to nail what we're doing. Like, we've got such good players in there. Tony's just really got to work his shit out.
Yeah.
That's it.
I feel like, as you were talking about Sam Kerr and the way we played, the scene from Ted Lasso came up when Jamie realizes he's finally got to be a midfielder. You can't play to me, you got to play through me. And like taking Sam out, that is kind of like the mentality we have. We've got to play through the field instead of just going to Sam for everything. Don't know why that came to my head, but shout out Ted Lasso for giving us memes. Michelle.
No, I agree. I think I also did a whole video on it for work, where basically statistically we did look a lot better without Sam in the World Cup. In 2023, like, I think we were using stats from all of 2023, 2022 as well. So statistically we play better without her, simply because of, like, we have to learn how to play as a team as opposed to just passing to one person. Mm-hmm. I also think, looking at this squad, there are players in it all the time where I'm always like, well, like, why are you in the squad? Like, what are you actually doing to warrant like a call up?
I'll name one that 3 people have called out in literally the exact same question 3 times. Why Polks?
I think, okay, this is my thing with Polkinghorn, right? And with Lydia Williams as well, when Lydia was called up in the past. It's that sometimes I can see why they would choose players who've been around for a long time purely for what they bring to the dressing room. So they might not play, but sometimes you just need those players for the dressing room, right? And that is just as important as like Mackenzie Arnold, who will be playing, right? But then you have players who are very young, and who maybe they're not getting the minutes that they need overseas or at clubland. And so, not to single anyone out, but Courtney Nevin, right? Like, she's not getting the minutes at Leicester. She was dropped at Leicester. She's back in the squad now, I believe. But it's one of those players where I'm like, girl, like, you need to be playing to be called up to the national team. Like, why are we calling you up if you're not playing? Like, at least Ivy Lewick is playing. Like, she's playing all the time at Huck, and she's going to be playing Champions League next week or this week as well. So
she just played in it, didn't she?
I think they just had a game. I'm doing highlights for it next week. That's why. But there are most of the players that have been called up, like fair play, like a lot of them are playing, but even Kyra's sitting on the bench at Arsenal. She's not even playing.
Yeah.
And sometimes I just wonder, like, how, Tony keeps saying they need to be playing, they need to be, getting minutes in clubland to be able to be called up to the national team side. And it's like, okay, but then practice what you preach. There are players in the A-League who are good enough, in my opinion, to be playing in the national team, especially for a friendly against Mexico. Like, obviously, like, this is, preparation for the Olympics and whatnot, but like, it's a friendly at the end of the day. And there are players that he's called up that are going to have to leave as soon as the regular season finishes, go play in USA, and then come back and play final series. Like, just don't play Jada and don't play Courtney, okay? Just don't do it. Like, why call them up? But yeah, like, I find this window very frustrating because it's so close to like important league time, and then it's also a friendly. Like, at the end of the day, that's what it is. I think it's not the be all and end all of football matches. I think he can afford to call up a younger, newer, fresher team for a game against Mexico, with absolutely no disrespect to Mexico. I just think that it's not the most vital game.
I mean, it would be a pretty good test to see how we would go against the US, considering they just beat them, though.
Yeah, but we've versed the US in the past. We know how we play against the US. That's not, and we're not playing the US. We're playing Mexico, so
Fair.
It's not really like a test, considering that the US still
Stylistically,
won.
they're very different.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they play very different styles of football. Like, it's just it's completely different. And yeah, I don't know. The squad is exactly like Kat said. Tony is a creature of habit, and he's just picking the same players as always. Like, I would imagine come Olympics call up, it's gonna look exactly the same, basically.
100%. Last question that we got was actually on our list to talk about tonight anyway. So thanks for everyone that popped your questions in. Appreciate you. The Gooners are coming down under. Let's go. We have some top level clubs coming down here, and we're getting A-League All-Stars back, which is even better. We are going to go through who we think will make the starting 11. I've gone mine a little literal, thinking about how it's actually going to be done, but I think everyone here has got, I know Cody's got 27 players that he could name off the top of his head and make 7 squads.
I narrowed it down to 11, but you are right. I got 3 reserve teams.
But this is going to be a big weekend in Melbourne with Newcastle United, Arsenal women coming down to play our A-League All-Stars teams. And what a cracking way to kind of end our domestic season on that type of high. And I think it's cool doing A-League All-Stars at the end of a season when you can kind of go, hey, if they do it the right way, you guys were our best players this season. Let's pat you on the back and send you off. What are your thoughts on this, Kat? Do you like the teams they're bringing down? What do you see this doing for us down here? Not just having those preseason kind of friendly games, but a good way to kind of end off our domestic season.
Yeah, look, I'm really excited. Like, I think there's a bit of split opinions on the whole thing. Like, they're bringing Tottenham down, they've got Newcastle coming down, and of course Arsenal. And I think the biggest of that will be Arsenal women coming down, because that's absolutely massive. I love All Stars. I think it's such a cool thing to be able to go and watch it, because realistically, like, I'm a Barca fan, which is, just don't look at this right now, but I love Barcelona, right? And, realistically, odds of me going to watch Barca in the next, 5 years are, prior to me doing all this work, it was very slim that I was going to go and see, some of my favorite players. So I think it's a really good opportunity for a lot of people who it might not be an option to be able to go overseas and watch their favorite teams. Like, I actually really like the concept. I think it's a bit of a hard time, because obviously it's right before the men's finals. So I think in that aspect, it's a bit difficult. But again, it's like, it is what it is. You just got to, like, put your best foot forward. And I think for this one, we've got our inaugural A-League Women's All-Star side. So that's the most important thing here. Like, I think they've obviously got the women's game as the headline game for the Friday night, which is massive. And it's like the first time we've had an exhibition match for women in this country, which again is pretty huge. So like I'm really excited, and I think, you know, you've got Matildas coming down, 3 of everyone's favourites. Arsenal women are huge here. Arsenal itself is a huge club, so not only are you just going to get, you know, the women's supporters, you're going to get Arsenal supporters as well, because let's be real, there are a lot of men out there who might not really watch women's football, but they'll get on board because it's Arsenal. So I think that's really awesome. I'm really looking forward to it. Like, I'm really excited to see how they kind of set up this All-Star side.
100%. I totally agree. I think having it as the headline is insane. One question that has been posed to us that does raise some question marks about this Arsenal team that they're going to bring down. It's just before Euro qualifiers for the UEFA window. So how full strength do you think we're actually going to see this Arsenal squad that comes down here, considering the majority of it is made up of lionesses and some of those top tier international players? Michelle?
So Jonas Eidevall actually just said in his press conference about 20 minutes ago, we need to make the most and the best out of that opportunity. For some players, it would be the right thing to go. For others, it will be better not to. We will need to look at the loading and so on. So I really don't think a lot of the players that people want to see are going to come out. So
Leah Williamson, for one, probably.
Leah Williamson, unfortunately, will not be coming. There was never a chance that she was going to come. Yeah. R.I.P. Michelle Morris. Katie McCabe, likely to not be coming. R.I.P. Michelle Morris. Yeah, a lot of the players probably won't be coming, and as much as that sucks, like this happens all the time, right? Like in the men's, we're gonna see over in Perth, who is it? Milan and Roma. Half of their players are going to be in the Euros or the Copa America. So they're going to have no big name players coming. Like, it is what it is. But it's still an exciting opportunity nonetheless. I hate that it's at an oval stadium. I hate that it's a double header. I hate that it's going to be so frustrating to buy tickets to. So,
Kat, we've got a big one-sided opinion on this show. Can you give us your opinion on football being played at oval stadiums, please?
Look, I mean, ideally, you'd want to be playing in a rectangular stadium. Like, let's be real, it's the only way to play.
As a Melburnian as well, like, obviously AFL's your heartland. So, like,
but it's like, it's one of those things where it's like, it's frustrating because football is meant to be played in a rectangular stadium. That's it. Like, that's how it should be played. But in the reality, as much as they like to throw the ads on TV that we're football country, we're not a football country. So we're going to be having to deal with this shit of we're playing in oval stadiums for God knows how long, until someone decides to put some money into, oh, hey, let's maybe build some football stadiums in this country because that's what we should be doing. But instead, we're going to give money to the Collingwood to refurbish their netball. Piss off. It annoys me. And I love these exhibition matches, don't get me wrong, and I really like the fact that we can get a lot of people to these games because, you know, it sells itself. But at the same time, it's like, man, like, build a stadium. How hard is it?
100%.
Ask Queensland, they're finding it pretty difficult at the moment, I think.
Oh my God, like, it's obviously, okay, it's hard, but like, Jesus Christ. Come on.
It's a tough one. I just wish what's it called, Marvel now? I was about to say Etihad. I wish they'd go back to, if they want to host football matches, they actually bring out the old rectangular configuration. It's not perfect, but it's better than nothing. And I think the Matildas are in a position where you can... I think I might have actually said this on the last episode. Yeah. I do believe the Matildas and the FA are in a position where they can go to Marvel and go, if you want to keep hosting Matildas games, if you want that investment into the stadium that you're getting from the Matildas, give us the requirements that we need to put our game on properly. I think we're in a bargaining position to do that. I don't know if we're in a bargaining position to build a whole new rectangular 55,000-seater stadium in Victoria just yet, but we should be in a position where we do have that little bit of bargaining power over Marvel Stadium. And if they want to keep hosting Matildas games, they should put that demand on them. Otherwise, give the games to Brisbane. They got a perfectly good stadium up there.
Put it on Collingwood's training facility right across the road from the G.
I wouldn't say that Suncorp is a perfectly good stadium.
Yeah, I was going to say, are you sure?
Look, I have great memories from Australia, France. Please let me have
Yeah,
them.
but like,
Great memories do not make a great stadium, Cody.
yeah, but they're
Great
going to have a
memories 'cause
At
statue,
least,
Michelle.
at least it's a rectangle.
No one was on it for like 3 months beforehand. That's why.
Yeah. Oh, I'm not talking about the surface. I'm talking about the fact that it's at least a rectangle.
The stadium is so disgustingly old that, like, me trying to walk from my media section in the stadium to the press conference, I got stuck in a mob of people trying to buy food and go to the toilet. It's a disgrace. It is terrible, and it's
Oh,
built
I
on
have that-
top
I
of a
have that pro-
cemetery.
Is it?
Did you know this? That's why we've been cursed in there for so long.
oh
my
my god.
I didn't know that.
So we're
actually.
never playing there again.
We never played it again.
Look, unfortunately, we don't have 4 or 5 stadiums as new as Allianz or Combank. So it's wishful thinking, but it's better than nothing.
They should be playing their games in Allianz.
Yeah.
That atmosphere would be
Says
I
the Sydney
mean,
FC
look
fan.
at the.
just saying. It's a great stadium.
The atmosphere that was there tonight for the NRL was wild. So like, it's that type of stadium that.
Josh, wild atmosphere and NRL shouldn't go in the same sentence.
Look,
Yeah.
it was. I mean, it was a Sydney derby, and on the AFL, you're a Cats fan, aren't you?
Isn't it always
Kat?
a Sydney
I
derby?
am.
Yeah, you're up by 14 with 2.5 minutes to go.
I actually
so
haven't even checked. Oh my god, this is fantastic.
it's
news.
Guys, we're
Yeah.
breaking all the rules tonight.
sorry. Yeah, I know. Look, we're just vibing.
Terrible.
Chelsea supporter, we've got to break all the rules, right? I think okay. We're going to open the mic up because I think that's the end of the episode. I think we've covered everything we need to cover. Is there anything we've missed?
A-League All-Stars predictions.
Oh
Who's
yeah,
gonna
we
be
need
in
to do
the squad?
predictions. Of course. Holy crap! How can I forget? Sorry, I sidetracked myself.
I did this at dinner.
I did not do it at dinner. Kat, you're
I
our
did this
guest.
at the F1.
Let's go.
All right.
See,
so,
look at that. That's another sporting
I did this
code
at the
that we've
F1
thrown in
today,
there.
but like, I
Not to
haven't
brag.
really. I haven't put too much thought into it, so I apologize in advance.
That's okay.
I've got a lot of names written down here, so don't judge me. But I've got for my strikers, I'm going to have Michelle Heyman because, of course, you can't not. Like, if we're judging based on who's had good performances this season, I'm putting Michelle Heyman in there number 1, of course. I'm going to put Serena Bolden, and I'm also going to put Rachel Lowe because I've really enjoyed watching her at Victory this season, and she's might not be everyone's favorite, but she's one of mine, so I'm putting her there.
Michelle, you're a fan of her, aren't you?
I will refrain.
I've got a
from
few
answering.
Victory players in here, so Michelle's going to hate me.
That's good. I got one or
Oh,
two.
actually,
I've got
no,
none.
I don't. I lie. I'm a liar.
I've got one. I've got one victory player.
Yeah, I've got Chids, Tamiki Yallop, and Jacqueline Sawicki for my midfielders. So that's 6. Maybe Kaya Simon. She's been okay. And then I'm going to put Stoddy in because I love Stoddy and I think she's had a decent season as well. Jackman, Faye Bryson, and Taylor Otto. I don't know how many people I've got there, but that's pretty much what I've come up with today whilst also watching cars go around in circles.
That's all right. Hard left turn. Cody, you're 11.
Okay, good. It's 11. I just wanted to make sure of that.
That's
Okay.
a good.
I'm
I'm
gonna
pretty
start-
sure Kat hit 11. It might have been 12, but it was close enough to 11.
All right, I'm going to start from the back, though. I'm going to get the reverse order. Goalkeeper, Jada Wyman.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of an obvious choice, especially with Lydia Williams being out. Oh, I should preface, I've gone for a mixture of general reputation and form. I'm trying to balance the two, find like a happy middle ground. And my arrogance will tell me that I've done it perfectly. Left back. This is probably where people disagree with that statement. Jess Nash. That is definitely under 20s young Matilda's bias. Centre backs, Charlotte McLean, Rebecca Stott. I'm agreeing with you there, Kat. She's a great player. Great reputation. Had a decent season. Why not? Right back, I've gone for Tash Rigby kind of because no one else came to mind. And you know what? There does need to be a little bit of experience in there because otherwise I've kind of just got a bunch of kids. Centre mids, Mackenzie Hawkesby, Alex Chidiak, no defense, just vibes. Left wing, Daniela Galich, probably one of my favourite players in the league. Right wing, Courtney Vine, and then up top, Michelle Heyman, Serena Bolden. I've gone for a classic 4-4-2 with no defensive midfield cover whatsoever. So we're probably going to get overrun, but you know what? It's going to be a lot of fun to watch.
We're there for the goals, right?
Exactly.
I'll go
It's
before
not a
Michelle
serious
brings it
game.
home. Exactly. I've also gone Wyman. I had I think it's Briley Henry on the left. I reckon they're going to send. I've gone for people that I think they're genuinely going to pick. So like Matildas. So I've got Yallop, Chids, Hawkesby, Vine, Heyman, Charlotte McLean, Cerny from Western. I had Roller Batawea on the left. I think that's everything. I think that's 11. Yeah. Oh, and Checker as well on the right.
May I just add, I forgot to put a goalkeeper in, but I was also going to put Wyman in. Thank you.
That's okay. We're only here for vibes, right? No defense. We're just going to play.
She's on my paper. She's here.
Going 11 outfield players, just no goals. That's all good. We're playing ice hockey rules.
We're here for vibes only. That's it.
Pure vibes.
That's how I watch football. I don't really give a shit about defenders. No offense.
Oh, wow.
Unless they're good on the. That's what I mean. That's what I tell you all the time, Michelle. That's half the reason why Charlotte McLean kind of maybe escaped my eye when I'm talking about potential Matilda centre backs. I just don't watch centre backs in a lot of detail sometimes. I like a flashy technical player. I'm watching your Daniela Galiches, your Vesna Milivojeviches, your Holly Kaspers. I don't have time for defenders sometimes.
You are horrible.
I probably am.
I'm going to cancel you.
Don't let Twitter hear that. Jesus Christ.
No, that's why I said
I don't know how I
cancel
haven't been cancelled on Twitter yet, honestly. Then again, I just kind of learned to shut my mouth because people suck. Yeah, Kat, you've seen the wrath of Twitter. I know that.
Multiple times.
Let's go.
Multiple times.
I wear it like a badge of honor. This badge right here is all of the Twitter haters that I've got.
Twitter main character.
I just kissed the badge for anyone listening.
Michelle, bring us home with your 11.
All right. Well, I've gone for Morgan Aquino as my goalkeeper.
Ooh.
TBH. Yeah.
That's a hot take.
It is a hot take.
She'd be my backup, to be fair.
Honestly, I think if you put her and Wyman side by side, it could be a coin flip. But I do agree that Aquino should get the nod with the way that she's been in goals.
My back line is Jamila Rankin, Charlotte McLean, Mackenzie Barry, and Tori Tumeth. Then I've got Beattie Goad, Hawkesby, and Libby Copus-Brown, Courtney Vine, Michelle Heyman, and Serena Bolden. But hold on, I've got a list of shout-outs.
Are you okay?
My squad.
2 Newcastle players in your 11? Are you okay?
They're good players.
Let's
what do you want me to do? I like Libby Copus-Brown. She's always been a player that I think has been solid, really good player, really quick, and can score a goal. So,
Even at the Wanderers?
oh yeah, you can respect certain players. Unfortunately, right now they've got no players that I do respect, so unlucky.
All right, Sophie
Harding, Caspers.
Who?
Harding. Oh, serious.
Who are ya?
Got him.
My shout-outs, though. I do have shout-outs to put on my squad. Tamika Yallop, obviously. I think she's been pretty solid this season. Second half of the season, she's been a lot better. Sophie Harding is on the shout-outs, don't worry. Jada, obviously. Can't forget about my girl. And Jordan Thompson, centre back for Sydney FC as well. She's had a cracker season. She scored 2 goals. She scored on her debut. She's been unreal. Sat next to her in the airport because she needed to charge her laptop. That was fun. Cass Davis. I think she is severely underrated. And I think if she plays on a team like Sydney FC or Melbourne Victory, she gets the plaudits. But because she plays for Newcastle, she does not. And Mariana Speckmeyer from Wellington as well. I think she is arguably one of the best players in the league right now. Unreal. She is so much fun to watch. She is such a gun. Yeah. And if she is not up for the Julie Dolan medal, I will be very surprised because she has had an unreal season. That whole Knicks team has really been able to kind of do a lot better this year, especially the second half. So, yeah, that's my team.
Let's go. Perfect. Thank you guys for coming along and listening. Kat, thank you for joining us. We do a thing at the end of every episode where I open up the microphone to all of you. Any hot takes or opinions that you need to share, get off your chest. Can be anything. Just keep it football related so we don't rabbit hole again.
So don't piss off Michelle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to do it this part of the episode. I'm gonna piss her off again, but not because of an opinion, but because of something that's happened. Did any of you see that the AFC's cancelled the final for the Women's Club Championship?
I did see that.
Wait, what?
You know,
Sydney
Sydney FC went to the Women's Club Championship, Josh.
Yeah.
They had the final for it scheduled for May. The AFC's just turned around and cancelled it.
Completely cancelled. They're not even going to replay the game or anything. Like,
I don't think they ever said why, did they?
Not that I know of.
AFC.
So yeah, that's my add-in for the end of the episode. Just drop that in there. Make Michelle mad again.
I'm not mad. Sydney's not in it. Doesn't bother me.
Oh, imagine Sydney was in it. I'd be mad.
If Sydney was in it, I would be a lot more upset.
Kat, do you have any hot takes or things you want to leave us with, truth bombs at the end of the episode?
My brain is absolutely fried. I would like to say I met Mile Jedinak this week and I straight up nearly shit my pants. That's it.
Facts.
That's all.
And that will be on record forever. And we'll take that to Twitter next time something happens, Kat. That's all good.
I'm going to print it out and put it on a shirt.
The fact that you met Mile Jedinak or the fact that you almost shit your pants when you did?
Both.
There we go.
It's going to be one of those long-winded 12-paragraph
That's all
shirts.
I have for you guys this week. I've been in F1 mode, so I'm just like...
We appreciate you taking off your racing suit and coming and joining us on the football pitch again, mate. Thank you again. Michelle, send us off on a goodie.
Oh, on a goodie. And that's a lot of pressure for young and wild and free Michelle Morris TV. Follow me on Instagram.
We haven't had a selfless plug since episode 1, guys. There it is.
I know. I've just uploaded a new video, so please go and enjoy it. Go leave a comment. I don't know. I don't have any hot takes at the moment. Oh, I think the race for the premiership is really, really tight at the moment, which is really exciting. I think the league and the broadcasters could do a better job of promoting this and how tight it is and how fun it is to watch. Like, this is so exciting. Oh, yeah, because that stupid person on Twitter, another stupid Arsenal fan. I hate Arsenal fans, by the way. As an Arsenal supporter, I think they are some of the most annoying people on the planet because they don't
None of us even needed to send Michelle.
This is what I've been saying.
They actually don't watch football.
For years.
They don't watch football. They don't know what they're talking about. Anyways, so this person was saying that the A-League Women's is not like a competitive league. And I'm like, I'm sorry, but we have like 6 teams that could finish first at the end of the regular season, whereas you have 2 teams that are fighting for first place. Like, please take a step back and go choke on your baguette, you French person. So...
was this the same person that tweeted about how the Gunners shouldn't be coming down here because the A-League and Australian football sucks?
Yeah.
She can piss off.
Yeah, go choking. She's French
I'll
as well,
go
so
fight
go
her
choke
as
on
well.
your baguette. I hope you get a baguette.
We'll see you in July.
How dare you?
French catches strays.
Australians make up like a certain percentage of your league. Can you piss off?
Seriously, like... Yeah, so it really annoyed me, and I was like, no, our league is awesome. Our league is the best. Your league would be nothing without us.
Exactly right.
Because we were OGs. It was like us and the NWSL that were the top 2 leagues in women's football, and everyone knows that. The WSL has nothing. I reckon Sydney FC women, on like I reckon that championship winning side from last season, I reckon we could beat like Tottenham. 100%. Easy win.
I thought you were going to go so much higher.
No, we won't beat Chelsea.
Tottenham.
This started off as a soft take, and all of a sudden she's gone for Chelsea, and she's like, "Let's go."
We won't beat Chelsea, but we will. I reckon A-League women's teams could easily beat like it's bottom half of the WSL. Easy.
You have a field day with Bristol, eh?
Oh my god,
mate!
Courtney
The Jets could
run rings around them.
The Jets could take Bristol.
That's saying something.
Mackenzie Hawkes is there.
I reckon Adelaide could take Bristol at this stage.
I wouldn't push it that far. Come on,
hey,
Cody.
Come on.
Give Bristol some respect.
Give Adelaide some respect.
No.
There's the line. Kat, once again, thank you for joining us. You are welcome back whenever you feel you fit our vibe perfectly. Thank you for picking on Michelle all night, giving Cody and I a break.
Me. I love Michelle. Michelle's my favourite.
See? Boom. Suck it.
It's just because she's known you longer, man. Come on.
Your mother.
It's also because we got the Chilena vibe going on between us. I haven't met that many, so I've got to keep them close. You know what I mean?
100%.
We will be back on Wednesday, Thursday, whenever I upload the episode with our regularly scheduled programming. This has been your special take into what is coming up with the Olympics and a slight kind of sidetrack into A-League All-Stars. But we will be back next week with our A-League coverage as we wrap up, head towards the wrap-up of the regular season. And you will catch all our Olympic coverage starting probably early July when we get around to actually looking at things after finals. So happy days. Thank you once again for all joining us midweek, and we will be back next week. See you. Bye.